Hello, folks. Richard Fontenay here. Welcome to the Fontenay e-learning podcast, or welcome back. Noticed that there is a slight change in the title for today. We are introducing these podcasts using the new title now found in the Fontenay magazine, that of FM e-learning. Hope you like it. Thank you for joining us today. I really do appreciate your participation, and if you're so inclined, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, and I do thank you in advance. Today's topic is about creating important habit-forming strategies. Those strategies that we can use so that we can work and live smarter. Why? Because your personal growth and development matter in everything that you do. People often set goals at the beginning of each year, but we don't really need to wait until January to set goals. We can start anytime, and the trick is to make the commitment to change. That's really what it's all about. Goals really set us up to change. And it's turning those goals into action that determines if we are really have the mindset to make those changes happen. So today I'm going to outline the 5 strategies that will help you along your journey in life. Each strategy will end with a commitment on how you can turn them into action. They are not hard goals, but they will affect real change in the way you go about your work and your life. If they are a fit for you, seize the opportunity to make them happen, because your personal growth and development matter. The first strategy: set achievable personal and work goals. Now, when people set goals, conventional research shows that they actually live longer. However, in order to affect your goals, in order for your goals to have any meaning for you, you should write them in a way that shows action and measurement. Now, action means we will do something to make it happen. Measurement allows us to track progress along the way. So be smart, S-M-A-R-T, when you write them. That is, make your goals specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and trackable. Now, if goals are not smart, they usually will fall into the category of a wish list. Let's take a couple of examples. At work, you can write something like, complete the policy on wellness program. A laudable goal, but not fully measurable and trackable. There is no time for completion. So you can say, I'll get to it someday, or I'll complete it sometime. Maybe a great incentive to procrastinate. Maybe, what do you think? If your goal is relevant to your work, you should ask yourself, how does it relate to my work? What priority does it have? How is it relevant to me? And then ask, why am I doing it? And certainly if it isn't relevant, you really need to ask why you're doing it. And if it is relevant, then ask, how important is it? And is it necessary and urgent? Or is it something that's urgent, but not necessarily necessary to do it at this time? Or is it not necessary or urgent at all? Now, once you've answered those questions, you can write a SMART goal, such as, I will complete a draft policy statement on wellness and present it to my leadership team for approval by September 30th at the given year. Then you can break your goal down into achievable monthly action steps, such as complete the research for the wellness policy by February the 8th. Ask for input from colleagues and receive feedback by March 31st. Write the first draft by May 31st. Circulate it to colleagues for the first review and receive their comments by June 31st. Make adjustments to the policy statement by July 31st. Circulate the final draft to colleagues and receive their comments by August 20th. Prepare a draft policy statement for approval by September 30th. You can see how this plays out in an actual process from the beginning to the end. So we can use the same goal-setting strategy for our personal life just as well as our business life. So rather than saying, I'm going to lose weight this year, be more specific and write down, I'm going to lose 30 pounds or 13 kilograms by June 31st of whatever year you're in. And by the way, by losing 13 kilograms, it doesn't sound as difficult as losing 30 pounds. Our mind is tricked into thinking that the smaller number isn't as hard as to accomplish as the larger number, even though the two numbers are almost the same in terms of weight loss. Now, once you have your goal set, you can then begin to identify the specific steps you're going to take to actually lose the 30 pounds. When we know where we are going, ambiguity is reduced. Progress can be measured, and our comfort level is heightened. And in the end, our stress level is reduced. So this month, focus on writing 3 to 5 SMART goals that you can actually action over the next month or two. Strategy number 2 is all about accepting the givens. Now, our anxiety level sort of increases because we worry about things outside of our control. And worry really doesn't accomplish anything except personal grief and often grief for others. So here are a few instances. We can't control time, but we can control what we do within the time that we have. We can't control the weather, but we can control how we plan for poor weather. And we can't control how people will relate to us, but we can control how we will relate to them. So the conclusion here is that we will have less anxiety if we control those things that are in our control and accept those things that are outside of our control. And this means accepting the givens. This month, focus on controlling only those things that are in your control. The third strategy is to take energy breaks. Now, one of the hard lessons that busy people learn in life is that their energy drains when they don't fuel up. They skip meals or skimp on the meals. They gobble down food while working their phone or on their computer, and they eat a lot of junk food rather than nutritious meals. Now, I knew all about eating well, but I didn't follow my own advice. The result was a quadruple heart bypass. And that wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty for me, and it wasn't pretty for my family. And so beware. So busy people also learn that when they are in their or on their computer for long periods of time without any sort of ergonomic seating, or when the monitor is too close, they experience strain and pain from their eyes, from their backs, from their shoulders, from their wrists, and so on. So take heed when these things happen to your body. Your body is actually shouting out, take a break. Try these suggestions this month. Work in 90-minute sprints and take 5 or 10-minute break. And in some instances, work in 15 or 30-minute sprints and take a couple of minutes out in between the sprints. When at your desk too long, stand up and stretch. Take a short walk down the hall. Shift your eyes from the computer to something else. Move away from your desk. Take a walk during the noon hour. Eat properly and pay attention to the green, yellow, and orange and vegetables. And then slow down on the breads and leave the sweets alone. And that too is a difficulty for me. Instead, eat fruits, any kind and all kinds. And slow the mind down. Take 5 deep breaths so that you can reduce the mind traffic. And after 3 minutes, come back to your work. Strategy number 4, exercise regularly. Now, our body is really built to move, so we should move it regularly. We can be quite sedentary when we are working at our desk. Often, we are either standing or sitting for long periods of time. And over time, this takes a toll on our body, and we find fat rolls creeping around our waist, in our back end, and other places too numerous to mention. Often, one of the antidotes to growing bubble fats around our body is to exercise. So get up from your chair and walk around. Take a 10-minute walk in the morning, 10 minutes over the noon hour, and then another 10 minutes in the evening. That gives you a good half-hour walk every day. Find a buddy and go for a run. Take the stairs rather than the elevator. Now, if you're sitting, stand up and read whatever it is that you are reading, and walk around while you read. I learned this many years ago and really enjoy reading while walking to and fro. Now, we can do that in our homes, in our apartments, in our backyard. It's easy to do. And other things you can do as well is such things as join a gym, seek a lifestyle coach or a trainer. The point is, do something rather than just sitting and standing for hours on end. So here's how you can turn this strategy into action. Do 1 or 2 of these activities daily, and you will find you have more energy. So commit to exercising this month and set up a SMART goal to do so. Number 5, the strategy here is to think positively. Now, thinking positively means approaching challenges with a positive outlook. It doesn't necessarily mean avoiding things that make us feel uncomfortable, or ignoring negative situations. Instead, it means approaching those situations in a positive light, or making the best of a bad situation. Now, you can improve your ability to think positively by affirming or actuating the positive for ourselves and for others. Rather than thinking, I can't do this, say, I can do this. Rather than thinking, I can't get along with this person, think about the positive aspects of the person and affirm those within your mind's eye. Rather than thinking, this place is a lousy place to work, think about, what can I do to make this place a better place to work? Now, thinking positively is not Pollyanna or pie-in-the-sky thinking. It really is about tempering our thought process with a positive approach to life rather than a negative one. Thinking positively works, and it really does work. According to the Mayo Clinic, as an example, positive thinking can lead to a longer lifespan, less stress, lower rates of depression, increased resistance to the common cold, better coping skills, lower risk of cardiovascular disease, increased physical well-being, and overall better psychological health. So if your approach to life is more on the negative side, and you would like to change it, well, take heart, because positive thinking can be learned. In essence, you are learning a new habit, and as is the case of any change in habits, you will need to develop a strategy, a habit-changing strategy. And in this case, for instance, you need to identify what needs to change, name it, and make a firm commitment to replace it with something positive. Secondly, throughout the day, take out some time and review how you are moving towards that greater sense of optimism. Thirdly, whenever you find yourself becoming negative, pause and rephrase your thinking or how you are verbalizing your thoughts. So you want to rephrase your thinking and put it in a more positive light, and verbalize your thoughts in a more positive way. Start the day with an affirmation or a positive thought and reduce it, and I should say reinforce it, by verbalizing the thought throughout the day. And finally, surround yourself with positive people. They will help you keep on track. So to make strategy number 5 real for you, particularly if positive thinking, it doesn't really come easy for you, make a commitment and set a goal to practice thinking positively. And make sure that goal is a smart one. So, in conclusion, turning goals into action is not hard. Committing to goals and actions is the hard part. One way to ensure you are committing to your goals and actions is to write them down and place them in front of you as a daily reminder. Another way is to ensure that they are front and center in your daily calendar. That way, they will remind you to work on them during the day. Changing a habit takes a bit of time, and some of us are more stubborn than others. So if you're like that, we need to make a stronger commitment and remind us more frequently. So to turn a way to do this is to turn to someone you can trust and that you can partner with, that will keep you accountable until you've regained your new habit. Now, hopefully, this podcast has given you some insight into how to change habits and what will lead you to a better life. Let me know in the comments below what you agree with and what you don't agree with during this podcast, and any other comments that you may have that relates to this particular topics. I would really like to hear from you. And I do appreciate your comments, and in time, I will respond to as many of them as I can. One final note. Now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. I offer daily YouTube shorts on coaching tips, and by subscribing, you'll be notified for our weekly podcasts, as well as any other matters that I put on YouTube, and the daily YouTube shorts. Again, my throat is starting to go. Again, thank you in advance. Now, I'm looking forward to meeting with you again next week, next Wednesday, and thank you for listening. And remember, keep well, stay safe, and continue becoming the best version of yourself. Bye for now.